Hi everyone, well, I can't see myself like that. Hi everyone, oh no lights. Take 3. Hi everyone and welcome back to Big OGGIE World and the kitchen. So today we are still in a bank holiday weekend, although you won't see this on a bank holiday weekend, and I'm going to make something a little bit special. Now it's quintessentially summertime, I'd say. The actual recipe is, we're going to make a strawberry daiquiri tart. Now it looks amazing. I've got the recipe, there we go. I got the recipe from the May Delicious magazine. It is a daiquiri, so it has got a little bit of alcohol in it, but if you don't want to put alcohol in it, you can just leave it out. You don't need to add anything else instead of, you just leave it out completely. So it's not difficult, it looks amazing and it's not difficult, but it just needs to be done in stages. So stage 1 is obviously the pastry. So the recipe calls for a tart tin, and it says 25 centimetres. Now, mine's only 23, so I may have a little bit of mixture left over, but that's absolutely fine. If you've got 25, brilliant. You do need a loose bottom one though, that's essential, okay? The pastry needs to be made and then rested for at least an hour, but you can make the pastry for up to 2 days before and just leave it in your fridge. It won't come to any harm at all. The pastry is a little bit different. It's got some ground almonds in it and it's got some icing sugar in it, and it's going to actually be almost a shortbready type texture. So that's something a bit different. So let's crack on and do that first. So for your pastry, John will obviously put all the ingredients and the amounts down below, as he always does. So we're going to add our flour and the almonds and the icing sugar. And a nice pinch of salt. Now I'm not going to go too mad on the salt because I'm using salted butter, although the recipe says unsalted. I just don't ever buy unsalted butter. So you're going to whisk those bits together to sort of combine them. It doesn't need to be sifted because obviously it's just pastry. So whisk those up together to mix them, and then add in your butter, which I've cut into small little cubes. Now we're going to rub it in, breadcrumby type, as we always do, or we usually do. The difference with this one is that it doesn't matter if you've got some bits of butter left at the end, as in like pea-sized pieces of butter. So you don't need it to be like really fine breadcrumbs. You just need it to be breadcrumbed, most of it, with a few little bits of butter. Won't hurt. So I'm going to crack on and do that, and I'll be back when I've done that. Okay, so that's done. The next step is to add in the zest of 1 lime, and the juice of 1 lime, and then you need 1 egg yolk, and into that you're going to add a tablespoon of iced water, and it's important that it's iced. It needs to be as cold as cold. You whisk your egg yolk with the iced water. And in that goes as well. Now you take a butter knife or a normal kitchen knife and you cut that liquid into the pastry mixture. Get it good and mixed, certainly with the lime zest, so you can see that it's mixed through the pastry. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on the size of your lime, how much juice you get out. But just that little bit is enough for me to bring this completely together as a lump of pastry. I don't need to add any more fluid at all. So get this out of the way. Flour your workspace. And then turn out your pastry bowl. And sort of work it so that it's nice and smooth. Comes together beautifully. Like that. Just put a bit of flour on the top and the bottom. And then you want to form it into a disc. Obviously don't make your disc too big, otherwise you won't be able to handle it too easy. Once you have your disc, you need to wrap it in cling film, and we're going to refrigerate that for at least 1 hour. But as I said, if you want to do this in the stages, you could make this up to 2 days in advance and leave it in your fridge. So I will wrap mine and then we'll be back for the second section. Okay, so the pastry has been in the fridge for just over an hour and it's firmed up beautifully. So I've got 2 pieces of baking paper which I've lightly floured on the bottom, and then put the top one on the top and sort of spread it so there's a little bit of flour on the top as well. So I'm going to unwrap it and we're going to roll this between the 2 pieces of baking paper. And that's because this isn't really, well, it is pastry, but as I said, it's going to be more like a shortbread type texture. So it's very short. So it's quite difficult to handle, which is why we had to leave it so long to firm up. So go ahead and try and roll it. First problem I can see with mine is it's starting to crack. Now that's probably because it is so cold. So I'm just going to be a bit gentle with it and do it gradually rather than just going ahead willy-nilly and just trying to roll it quickly. Try and keep it as round as you can because that will make it easier for you to get into the tin. As you can see, there's quite a big crack in mine, so I'm just going to sort of bring it together with my fingers, really. And I think we're sort of there size-wise. Yeah. So the tricky bit now is to get it off the baking paper and into the tray. Excuse me, my eyes are itching all of a sudden. I've opened the window and whether there's some pollen around. So keep 1 piece of your baking paper because you're going to need that to put inside the tin in a minute to bake your pastry blind. Now, the easiest way to try and do this is it should be loose on the bottom because of the flour. So try to gently loop it over your pin if it's long enough. And then roll it back into your tart tin. And then you're going to have to sort of gently lower it in. Now the problem with a pastry that's so cold is it doesn't really want to bend, but if it's too warm it will just break. So there's sort of, you have to try and find a happy medium. Now remember, my tin is also slightly too small, so I have got quite a lot of pastry here, and when you roll it out you're going to find that your pastry is quite thick still when you roll it out. It's not going to be like a thin short crust type pastry, and that's again because it's going to be a shortbready type base, not a traditional short crust pastry. Now if you've got a fluted tin like I have, try and go around and push it into the little gaps, because that's going to make it look even more beautiful when you present it. Okay, so I'm going to put that as it is without trimming it for the time being back in the fridge for another 15 minutes, and that's to stop shrinkage when it goes into the oven. So just put that in there for a little minute. Okay, so that's been 15 minutes and the pastry is nicely rested. So I'm going to take a knife now and trim my excess. There we go. Get rid of these bits, we don't need those. Now you need to take a fork and prick the bottom of your tart case. Then we're going to take the piece of baking paper that we already had. I'm going to tear a bit off because it's a bit big. Scrunch it up. And then use it to line your tart case. And fill with baking beans. If you don't have baking beans, you can use rice or any other type of bean. You just need something to weight it down a bit. I'm just going to put a few more in there. There. Now that is going to go into the oven for 12 minutes, and it's precise, so 12 minutes, and then we're going to take it out and take out the beans and the paper carefully. So let's get that in for its first 12 minutes. Okay, so that's been 12 minutes. So we're going to remove the paper with the baking beans. Be careful, because if you're using, well, whatever you're using is going to be very hot. Which is why it's a good idea to leave extra bits of paper overhanging so you can lift the paper out without having to sort of burn your fingers, basically. Right. God, this smells delicious already. You can smell the lime in it. So this is now going to go back in for another 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on it because we need to not overcook it. Yep, I would say that's cooked. It's nicely browned around the edges. It's starting to come away from the edge of the tin, and it's a nice pale golden in the middle. So I'm going to put that up out of the way to get cool, and then we can start thinking about our filling. So the filling is a kind of a strawberry mousse. Now if you don't have a food processor, you can use a stick blender. If you do, all well and good. So the first thing we need to do is take our strawberries. Now this is 350 grams of strawberries. Obviously the recipe has got a lot more strawberries in it, but the majority of the rest of it is for the decoration. So this 350 is for the filling. So if they go into the food processor, I've just got a normal choppy blade on there. And also in that goes the icing sugar. And I don't know why, but icing sugar sticks no matter where you put it. There we go. So before I start making a noise with the food processor, I have got 3 sheets of platinum grade gelatin. Now it has to be platinum grade. Apparently we have found out there are 4 grades of gelatin, from bronze right the way through to platinum, and they have different levels of, I guess, gelling agent would be how I would sort of describe it. Platinum is the highest grade. It also is the smoothest grade, and apparently when you use platinum you get a lovely melt in the mouth sort of smooth texture. I'll be honest, I don't use gelatin that often, so this is an experiment for me also, but we need to soak our gelatin in cold water for 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to fill this bowl with some cold water and let this start softening. So let's blitz our strawberries. You kind of want it nice and smooth, so make sure you don't have any big lumps. I guess little lumps would be absolutely fine if you want to leave a little bit of texture in it. In go the strawberries. Now the next stage is we need to gently heat up the strawberry mixture. Now the ideal of this is to warm it through, but we do not need to boil it, okay? So keep an eye on it, keep stirring it. We don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan either. And just gently warm it. Hello.
No.
That was John just walking by the way.
Hello. I am busy, honestly. I didn't think you want to be disturbed whilst doing your gelatin.
I'm not doing gelatin yet, I'm just warming the strawberries through.
Okay. I love the strawberry. Got any spare?
We got plenty of spare.
Good.
This is going to be absolutely delicious. It's also going to be perfect if you're going to have a barbecue or something and you want to do a dessert. This would be amazing for that. I will say up till now, the faffy part, if you like, has definitely been the pastry. So as I said at the beginning, you can prepare it in advance and keep it in the fridge. And if you're going to do something like a barbecue, that would be my advice. I would do it the day before and just leave it in the fridge until I was ready for it. Because this part, the actual filling part, doesn't seem to take that long. It's just literally the making of the pastry and then letting it rest and then rolling it and letting it rest. That's the faff, if you like. Yeah, that's good enough. So I'm going to take it off of the heat. Let me get rid of this plate a minute. And And then you need to take your gelatine, squeeze out the excess water and put it into your strawberry mixture and give it a good stir round until it dissolves. Feels very strange, this stuff. But anyway, in it goes, stir it round. Now make sure, give this a really good stir. And make sure that it is properly dissolved, because you really don't want lumps of this stuff. There we go. I think that's gone. Next step, we are going to add the zest of 1 lime. The juice of that 1 lime, and 2 tablespoons of strawberry jam, give all that a good mix in. Give the jam a good swirl so that it sort of dissolves properly. We're using strawberry conserve, so it's like a soft set jam if you like, but you use whatever jam, strawberry jam you have. And then, if you are using alcohol, you need to add 1.5 tablespoons of white rum. Now we are using Dead Man's Fingers because it happens to be what we've got, but you can use Bacardi or any white rum that you have hanging around. 1.5. As I said, if you are feeding this to children or to people that don't take alcohol, you can just leave it out. You don't need to substitute it with anything else, you just literally leave it out and it won't make any difference to the consistency of the recipe at the end of the day. Okay, so we need to leave this to cool while we get on with the rest. So I'm going to put it up near the window, but it's not actually that hot. As long as you don't overheat it, it should cool quite quickly. Next, we need Maureen the mixer. Maureen's already had an outing today, so she's all cleaned up and ready to go the second time. You need a whisk. So again, you can use a stand mixer for this, or if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a hand, electric hand whisk type thing. I guess because you're going to be whipping cream now, you could in effect use a hand whisk completely if you wanted to, but it would make your arms ache a bit. So let me get the stuff out of the fridge. So what we need to do first of all is we need to whip up our whipping cream. So in that goes, let me get my spatula to get it all out. There he is. I do find with a stand mixer that the whisky bit gets in the way to start off with. So make sure you get all your cream out. Now this is whipping cream, not double cream. There we go. And you want to beat your cream until it gets stiff peaks, but don't over whip, so be careful, okay? Check it. Yeah, that is stiff peaks. I will show you, just in case you don't know, because you never can tell. So stiff peaks, when you do that, it stays on your whisk and you get a good thing in the middle of the bowl. So you don't need the whisk anymore. Sorry about that. Now, into your whipped cream, you're going to stir in your Greek yogurt. And you need to do this with a spatula or something gentle anyway. Mix it well to combine. Like so. And then into that, you're going to stir in your cooled strawberry mixture. So I'm just going to check that it is cool. And you don't need to do this massively. It says to do it until it's just combined. That is your filling made. Now, our tart is nice and cool, our tart case. So the next thing is to pour in your filling. Now, like I said, I'm probably going to have some spare because my case isn't quite as big as the ones that was said. Yep, so I have a little bit of mix left. But that is what it looks like. The last thing to do for now anyway is to cover it, which will stop it getting any sort of hard skin sort of thing going on it. And also it will stop it picking up other smells from the fridge. So cover it like that. And now you need to put it into the fridge for between 4 and 6 hours. 4 hours is ultimate. Any longer than 6 hours, your base may start going soggy again. So this is a timing issue. So in it goes. Okay, so that's in the fridge. As I said, I've got mixture spare because my case wasn't as big as what was requested. So I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to pour it into this little ramekin, possibly two actually, looking at it. And I'm going to put that into the fridge as a delicious treat to me of strawberry daiquiri mousse. So remember, it's got the gelatine and everything in it, so it will set, you just need to fridge it. There we go. And that, my friends, is a strawberry daiquiri tart. So I hope you like it. If you do, give us a thumbs up. If you try it, let us know, because I'm really interested to know if you will try this and if you do like it. If you try it and you don't put in the alcohol, do let me know that as well, because I'd be interested to find out what that's like. If you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do so. Please hit your notification bell so you know when we're around. And go over to Facebook and find us on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I will take a picture of this later on once it's all decorated up. And John will put that picture in at the end. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me today. I know it's been a task, it's been a long one, but hopefully it'll be worth it. And we will see you all again really soon. Bye.